With update 3.2 for Battlefield 2042, we have 3 new Vault weapons to choose from. We have the MTAR-21, the M39 EBR, and the PP2000. And all these guns I've used. They are fun to use, but they're not created equal, so let's have a look and see why. First of all, let's have a look at the MTAR-21. In terms of design, this one might be my least favourite. It looks a little stubby. It doesn't really protrude too much on the screen and kind of feels like the A91 did. Its reloads are mostly off screen because you don't see them too much. And overall, I just don't really like the short look of this rifle, but I know a lot of people like this bullpup design, and I also like bullpup designs just a little bit longer than this, like the L85. But I must admit, by the end of using it, I had grown to like it a little bit more on the looks department. It's kind of cute, a little gun, but I think that's helped by its performance because its damage and damage per second, more specifically, are pretty damn good, especially at short range. In medium range, you're going to struggle a little bit, but in short range, you've got a decent mag size, a high rate of fire, alright damage, and you're able to shred people very, very quickly. It's a fairly manageable gun as well in terms of recoil, because most of the recoil is horizontal. This does hinder you at longer ranges. I mean, you can't pick out a sniper and counter snipe him like you can with the AK-24 or the M5, but it does hold its own in short to medium, even though it can struggle a little bit with the horizontal spread. However, going into places like the stranded ships, it is ridiculously powerful where you can hold angles and mow people down as they come through, and you've got enough rounds to mow down a few people before you have to switch mags. Paired this with the assault class's extra magazines, and you've got a very big ammo well to choose from, which is my main complaint about Vault weapons, is their ammo pools are pretty small because you don't have multiple mag types. But this kind of remedies that because it's an assault rifle, so run it with Mackay, Sundance, etc, and it is a machine with a lot of ammo to burn through. In terms of attachments, it's pretty standard, similar to the M416. You've got your basic suppressors, all of your below attachments except for the underslung grenade launchers and shotguns, and most of the normal sights that come with Vault weapons. Nothing too special there, but I do like running it with the red dot, the vertical grip, and the flash hider. So yeah, I would recommend using this gun if you're looking for something that's more bullpup in design, just to mix it up a little bit, but it isn't that competitive past short range. For the M39, I'm never really looking for another DMR because I don't use DMRs too often. I've only tier 1 the BSVM and I'm close to tier 1ing the DM7. These guns just don't really flow with me very well, but the M39 is pretty fine. It looks the part, apart from that detached stock which looks a little wonky for me. I just don't really like this gun's design in terms of the back end, but everything forward that luckily you see on screen looks very damn good. In terms of damage, it is about a 3 shot to the body and a 2 shot to the head at long or medium range distances, which is fine. It's nothing spectacular, but it's serviceable. Its mag size is pretty decent as well. You can shoot off quite a lot of shots, but just be careful because its vertical recoil when shooting consistently quickly stacks up a lot. I learned to try and steady my shots and shoot them at very regular intervals, but let there be space between them, because if you don't, you will rack up that vertical recoil so quickly and lose control of the gun, even with the vertical grip. It is a bit of a trade-off, but if you can land your shots, they are fairly heavy hitting, and the gun also has some really nice sound design to go with it. In terms of attachments, these can also help with recoil. I found shooting with the ACOG made the recoil a lot more manageable than the 8x, which makes sense. But you might want to be going for those longer shots because it can make it if you adjust. It's not too hard to adjust for those ranges and to actually hit further shots. But for me, it was the 4x ACOG. Running it on maps like Hourglass were perfectly fine for me. I usually stuck to the bipod, but the vertical grip does help a little bit. Although to be honest, the bipod is just so much more useful for me finding a position and holding it. And on the end, the suppressor is a pretty useful feature, but obviously it reduces damage and projectile velocity, so it will hinder you a fair bit if you're trying to hit long distance shots. Other than that, I would kind of recommend this gun. It's probably my least favorite on this list in terms of this update, but it's fine, it's serviceable, and it's always nice to have more choice in the DMR category. Now, our final gun on this list was a bit of a surprise for me because I thought I would hate it. The PP2000 did not appeal to me at all. It reminded me of the A91, but luckily it's far better than the A91, at least in my experience. In terms of looks, it looks alright, it looks decent. It looks like a little bit of a skeleton of a gun rather than a fully fleshed out bullet shooting device. but it's fine, and also its iron sights are very, very clean. I preferred to run it with iron sights rather than holographic or a red dot because the vision was really, really good. Its damage is decent and its fire rate is very good as well, like the MTAR, but what really does it for me is the mag size compared with the damage and the rate of fire. I just find it has that perfect sweet spot of being able to take out multiple enemies and still have bullets left over after the fact. That's something that I don't really run into often with these portal guns, and it really made me fall in love with this one when I was testing it out. Recoil isn't too bad either, and I actually found myself getting more consistent results with this than the MTAR when I was shooting at medium ranges, which is kind of odd. Maybe it was just the tap firing I was using at the time helped quite a lot, but I did find that it was more consistent. This one also makes you feel like a stealthy ninja if you're running the suppressor on it. There are no underbarrel attachments, unfortunately, but what can you do? As for the top rail attachments, as I said, run at iron sights, it's much cleaner, and the recoil is very, very manageable. So I'm pretty happy with the Vault selection for this update. They're not guns that I really asked for, but they're ones that I'll enjoy nonetheless. But we also got some Vault gadgets that are coming to each of the classes in this update, and I want to talk about two in particular. One is the Claymore. As you can see, it's so satisfying to get that Claymore feed kill when you're not expecting it. Claymore works like it does in any other game. Put it down, people run into it, they explode, and you get that sweet, sweet dopamine when they do. It's pretty hard to mess up a Claymore, but in Portal, the placement was completely buggered, but luckily now it isn't. It's placed like a regular spawn beacon. You can't place it too near ladders to absolutely cheese it when people come up them or with zip lines, so it's balanced fairly well, and it works like you'd expect it to. The addition of other gadgets like the EOD bot are also great. Seeing them run around the map is awesome. They seem a little bit janky, but I'm just happy to have them in the game. Other stuff like the Javelin and Tracer Dart Gun are also very welcome, and to be honest, there's just so much more variety in what you see on the battlefield now because of the class system. People are forced to pick new things, and I think that's great, keeping the game fresh, depending on which class you want to pick. So anyway, I'm very, very happy with this update overall. These Vault weapons and gadgets have freshened up the game for me, and I hope they have for you too. But even if they haven't, head down into the comments below and let me know why they haven't or why they have. And tell me your general feelings about these Vault weapons. Do you hate them? Do you like them? Let me know, I want to hear it. And if you want to come and talk to me or anybody else that loves this game, head over to the NoSalt Discord, the link is in the description below. We're talking everything update 3.2 right now, and I'd love for you to join us. I hope you have enjoyed your little stay here. Please do consider subscribing or liking for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video.